Heyo everybody, Haku here on Friday, which isn't quite normal, with my live reaction and review for One Piece manga chapter 879. And this one's called Big Mom Pirates Commander Dogtooth, something like that. Well, technically Katakuri, it's just this translation does Dogtooth for whatever reason. And I think I've heard, I may be wrong on this, but I've at least been told that manga stream's going to be on Fridays now. Don't know what that means for other scanlations. So I guess we'll be doing these Friday now, I don't know, but if you're watching this you've probably already heard as well that Boku no Hero Academia is on break this week. Just throwing that in really quick so you don't look for it on the channel or anything, but like I said, you probably already knew. So yeah, I guess let's get into reading this. It feels so weird reading it on a Friday. So yeah, we have One Piece chapter 879, Big Mom Commander Dogtooth. So for this one, I am expecting it to just be Luffy versus Katakuri. Probably we might see a little bit of something else, like maybe we'll finally check back in with Sanji and what he's doing, but probably just going to be this fight. And I'm not really expecting a ton to get done. I think it's going to be a good fight, don't get me wrong, but this is just the first chapter of the fight, and there are very, very few One Piece fights, important One Piece fights, that are done in just one chapter. But for the cover story, we have Dropping In on the Lives of the Straw Hat Grand Pirate Fleet, Volume 13, Sai Arc, The Inevitable Fallout from Breaking Off an Engagement. And we see Sai is beaten to a pulp with Baby 5 crying over him, and his former mistress stomping away, former fiancé, his betrothed. And I guess that's it for that, at least for now. Just some fan art, of course, as is the case typically with manga stream. And yeah, okay, here we are. We have Brook. No, I can't believe Pedro. He's crying. Well, the Brook version of crying. I guess Brook can technically cry. We've seen him cry before, and it's not just rain running off of him, even though he's a skeleton. Either way, sadness rains down on the Sunny. If only we were stronger, he says, bowing over. And then Chopper is crying aloud, Carrot, and then Nami trying to hold it back. Our enemies should be the ones crying right now, says Jinbei. Don't let your hearts get too clouded. Now wait a minute, Jinbei. Those stone-hearted words sure fell rather easily from your lips, didn't they? After all, you'd barely spent any time with Pedro, says Brook. I'm telling you that this isn't the time to be letting down your guard. And Brook is still crying. Back at the coast, it was kill or be killed. That's the sort of place we're in now, and we knew that full well coming in. This is a victory for Pedro. You all have been watching, haven't you? Just how many do you think our enemies have lost? From their perspective, they're going through an unprecedented disaster. Can't you hear Pedro crying out from within yourselves? Keep pushing forward. Oh man, hold it in. Getting the feels very, very hard. Seeing everybody's crying faces. Luffy grasped the situation in an instant and enacted a plan to take on the enemy by himself. Katakuri's got a billion-berry bounty. That alliteration. Luffy's life is on the line. That alliteration as well. Soon they will come. From behind us, the pirate queen of these lands, Big Mom herself. Who knows when the battleships of the enemy will materialize from beyond the mist. Until we've at least made it out of the lands where Big Mom's will is absolute. Also, noticing this rain and everything, I feel like there's a good chance that this rain and stuff could maybe be from Big Mom's soul. I don't know. Big Mom's got some crazy power business that we don't quite know the extent of, I guess. Wait, hang on a second. Okay. Big Mom's will is absolute. Don't let your guard down. Can't you hear Pedro crying that out? Okay. That, for a second, I thought it was going back to something we'd already seen. I was like, what? Now Chopper goes into his heavy point. Wow, Nami, tell us what to do. Sanji and the others promised to come from Cacao Island via this route, so we've just got to make sure we don't just miss each other. Rudder to starboard. Gotcha. A slightly stronger wind will blow soon. We need it as a tailwind. We'll take the one on our starboard side and head straight west. Make a beeline for the rendezvous point. Gotcha. I'll fill up the cola barrels we used up, says Brook, running off as well. Okay, I'll take care of watching over the ocean currents, says Jinbei. Alright. And now we see Carrot jumps up to the lookout position. They're coming from our 6 o'clock. The ship's from before, and wedding. Big Mom, cake. I like this. So now Jinbei and Carrot really are like the lookout and helmsman. I like this. She's walking on the waves. Big Mom walking on water. I will say, though I have said before I really can't stand Big Mom, it's really crazy seeing how strong a person can be with that kind of ability. And we see that even her left to us, but her right arm and stuff is kind of scorched from the explosion, it looks like. Impossible, there's no way. I don't care what. And then Jinbei just gets cut off as he's watching. It looks like she's walking across candy of some sort. Blur, blur, blur. And then Carrot looks, not on the waves, but on a giant moving mass of candy. And then she takes the binoculars down. Candy. Cuckoo. Candy sea slug. Where the hell did Zeus get off to? He's the one that's supposed to carry Mama over the seas. And Carrot's still trying to hold in tears. And Sparrow is with Big Mom riding on her hat. Okay, so this is cool. A lot of people, like, I had talked outside of stuff after last chapter, and I think maybe I even brought it up in the Haku that if they escape now and have to fight Big Mom again in the future, it would be cool for Carrot to grow and get stronger and end up fighting Sparrow. But maybe that could even happen this arc. Maybe she'll be the one to take him down at this point. Well, whatever. I just happen to have developed a rather profound hatred for these fools. It doesn't bother me too much that I lost my right arm. No, I can just use candy to make up for it. But every time my right hand melts with the heat of a cup of the black tea that I like to enjoy in the afternoon, well, I can't help but remember it, the face of that blasted jaguar mink. Don't you agree, Napoleon? There can be no greater shame than this. In my country, heinous criminals don't actually have much of a future, so... Okay, Napoleon's country. Interesting. I like how OP Sparrow is as well, to create this giant candy sea slug and to be able to just replace a lost limb with candy. That bloody cat's friends, how shall I make them suffer? Whole Cake Island, western coast. Huh? Everyone's gone, and we see Zeus. Whatever, I want to eat some fire, says Prometheus. My strength. Oh, those two. Inside Totland sees. Ha, ha, ha! I must be mistaken, but that looks like my daughter, Chiffon. And we see Pound again. Oi! That's right, Lola was the minister of Cacao Island. Ever since she's been gone, that minister seat has been vacant. And despite the fact that everyone would let you take it, you've continuously refused that post. But to me... And now we see Sanji's group again with Chiffon and Pudding. The only chocolate minster of Chocolate Town is Sister Lola. I'd always hoped she'd come home one day and... so Lola back from Thriller Bark was a famous chocolatier, huh? Says Sanji. And what is Pudding doing all wrapped up in Labian? That's all well and good, Pudding, but can you get out of there already? Says Chiffon. If I sit on the same carpet as that man while wearing this wedding dress, people will think we're some sort of couple or something. Going back to her evil form. Who will? Says Chiffon. It's annoying. Annoying. Sorry for being annoying, but promise me you won't fall, okay? Sanji, her heart starts thumping again. Yeah, how nice is he? He's always worried about me. Shut up, dummy. I get to decide whether or not I'll fall, okay, Sanji? So again, being very, tsundere. Pudding, whatever. We'll be at Cacao Island soon. Okay, let's make this thing quick, my dear. Let's make this thing quickly, my dear. I love this so much. I really enjoy that we actually got to see them, we got to see a bunch of different stuff instead of just the fight. This time, though I'm very happy that we're getting into the fight now, I'm kind of so happy I was wrong. I'm really glad we got to see other stuff. Mirror World. Gumma Gumma no. Yeah, it's useless, except the lost Straw Hat. Lord Katakuri is the strongest of the three commanders. You aren't getting back to that ship. You aren't even getting out of here. Hawk Gatling. And then Katakuri is basically just mimicking the same move with his mochi. Foo, not quite right, huh? And instead of just moving his arm super fast, he actually made multiple arms of mochi. This is way more efficient, he says. And he starts beating down Luffy. And I love this, because this panel of Katakuri hitting Luffy looks exactly like a panel would normally be drawn of Luffy using the Gatling. Yeah, Lord Katakuri, that's not fair, said all the people watching on. I told you, in terms of our powers, there's nothing you can do that I can't. Speed, power, all of it. You're inferior. Like rubber would ever lose to mochi. Gomu Gomu no, Hawk Stamp. And he shoots his foot into him, of course. Gwah! And then Katakuri just still right back at him. Looks like he dodged out of the way even, probably because he can see the future. So, goes in for a kick. He disappeared. And Katakuri still ends up hitting him. Sends him flying. Man, OP. A test of power next, huh? Get the hint. Crap. And then Luffy bites down his thumb. So of course he can see that Luffy's going to try to use Gear 3rd now. Blows up his arm. Gomu Gomu no. Elephant. A huge punch. And then it looks like Katakuri's just mimicking the same thing again. God. So it's cool because Katakuri's not only mimicking it, but doing, like, because his mochi power is sort of extra OP, he's doing it larger in a more powerful way. But Lord Katakuri's is bigger. And then we see the clash of haki between them and Luffy gets knocked back. Again, I like this because this, again, looks like the type of panel that Oda would draw of Luffy using an attack like that on someone. That should be enough, right? For an elephant gun? A 1 billion bounties power. Absolute supremacy. Man, that's really... I like that the fight is being portrayed that way as well. Everything about this chapter was really good. Like, this completely blew past what my expectations were for it. Because I was expecting just the fight, and we weren't going to see... I was expecting like a whole chapter of fighting, but not really all that much accomplished with the fight, because I know that One Piece fights usually aren't handled in the promptest manner when it's something like this. But this was great. I thought the part of the fight we got so far, let me go back through it and just go part by part to discuss things. I love the beginning. The beginning was the best. Even if you noticed, I was starting to tear up there a bit. It was so good seeing everybody mourning Pedro. And that's something that I didn't really think about us seeing. I thought that they were just going to move on and do the mission. I didn't think about seeing everyone mourn Pedro, and I think it's great that they did, because it makes everything feel more important here. And one thing I really like as well, sort of Jinbei taking that under captain, maybe not even helmsman like everybody says they want him to be, but like a quartermaster type role where he's kind of an underboss, and it makes sense because he had his own crew. He was captain of the Sun Pirates for however long, and I think before he was captain, when he was under Fisher Tiger, he was the helmsman, wasn't he? So either way, helmsman, quartermaster, it's a great place for Jinbei and the crew, where he can be like a sub-leader below Luffy, because leadership is a skill on its own, and it's something that Jinbei is really good at. And I like that he's taking charge there, and when he tells everyone to get it together, Carrot's thing that she does is she goes to the lookout and starts calling stuff out, and a lot of people that said if Carrot joined, she would be the lookout. So I really loved seeing Jinbei and Carrot here, and I really want both to join so badly. There's just so much that could be done with both joining. Hoping, a lot of people are still saying, Jinbei will die. I'm really hoping Jinbei doesn't, just because I think he really has a place on the crew. He is a veteran, which does kind of separate him from the rest, but like I talked about before, the whole inherited will thing that One Piece focuses on for the Straw Hats, where each Straw Hat had a person in their life that believed in something and had a dream, and then each of the Straw Hats took on that will. And now Jinbei has that from Fisher Tiger, Carrot has that from Pedro. I really think that Carrot and Jinbei, they need to stay alive for this. As well, I really hope, since we saw Carrot's reactions and stuff to Perospero. If Carrot fights and defeats Perospero, it will be really, really great. Now, Perospero is OP. He has a higher bounty than Luffy even by like, what, 200 million? But he is already injured. He's already lost an arm. So I think that an injured, arm missing Perospero, who has to be getting at least a little bit tired at this point, even though he has such a big bounty and he is a really strong presence. We've seen his candy power is pretty damn OP. He even trapped Brook and Chopper with it, and Brook and Chopper aren't exactly pushovers, especially Brook, and Chopper is strong even though he hasn't got to do much in the post-time skip era here. Still, gosh, just really good. And Perospero looking badass as well. I love the panel of him showing off the new candy arm and stuff, and just seeing how incredible his power is, that he can just make the moving mass of candy for Big Mom to walk across the ocean. God, it's so cool. Like, I'm really, really happy with this. We see Pound on a ship as well. See Chiffon and them flying over. Okay. So, that's cool. And we learned that Lola was actually the minister of Chocolate Town, and Pudding could have taken over as minister at any time, but Pudding was hoping that Lola would come back one day. Which is cool. It shows a little bit of a good side in Pudding. And I like that I wouldn't have liked if Pudding just turned good guy out of nowhere, but I think this is better. It's obviously better than her turning good guy out of nowhere, but I think it even maybe works better than her being evil. Having her be sort of on the verge, where she's done bad things and is kind of bad in a couple aspects, but she's also good in a couple aspects and has done some good things. So it's kind of she's not your cut and dry good or evil character. Pudding is she's got a little bit of both going on. It makes the character more complex. So I can't really complain about it. So they're close to Cacao Island now, and then we see the Mirror World. I love that Katakuri is like, oh, well, you move your arms really fast to do this Gatling thing. Well, it's a lot more efficient if you just make more arms, and you can just do it that way. And of course, I love the way that Oda writes. I didn't even catch it, I think it was last week, when he said, oh, if you do that, that will work. And he was talking about Luffy carrying him into the Mirror World, and I didn't even catch it when I first read through. And I like that here, when he says, oh yeah, so now it's going to be a test of power, and then Luffy blows up his arm and goes for the Gear 3rd, for the elephant gun. I like as well the panels of Katakuri. They remind me a lot of panels that Oda would draw of Luffy fighting, further sort of cementing the idea of this fight being that their powers are super, super similar, but Katakuri's just on a whole different level. And I like, too, that something that Oda did with this is, at the beginning of the arc, he had the Luffy versus Cracker fight, and Luffy had to pull out all the stops and win in kind of a gimmicky way that he wouldn't have been able to win without Nami, and even with Nami, she had to sort of direct him and strategize for him. And Katakuri, Luffy said that Cracker had the strongest armament haki he'd ever seen. And now he's going up against Katakuri, who has insane, I guess, what would it be called? The Visionaries haki is one translation, but his haki is strong enough that he can see the future. So I like that beginning of the arc, he goes against somebody with the strongest armament haki, and now for the Visionary haki or whatever, he's going against somebody that has the strongest of that he's possibly seen. So here at the end of the arc, pretty close to the end at least, I can't imagine the arc going on too much longer, especially since I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be in Wano by the end of the year. So I like this. I like it a lot. The clash with the elephant gun, everything was great. Really, like I said, just no complaints. This blew my expectations away in every aspect. The fight was better than I thought it would be. I love that we actually got to see them mourn for Pedro. I love Carrot and Jinbei's roles here and everything that happened with them. There was not a bad thing. And we even got to check in with Sanji's group, which we haven't in a couple chapters, I think. So there is really no problem with this, in my opinion. I loved it, everything about it. And if I were giving it a score, I don't really give scores anymore since I combined the reactions and reviews, but if I were giving it a score, it would probably be at least a 9, if not higher. It'd be getting close to that 10, getting close to that perfect score. But, yeah, it was just great. I loved it. So, either way, like if you did like the video, this is going to probably take me until tonight to get up, so this probably isn't going to be up until Friday night. It's kind of on the longer side, but there was a lot to discuss. It was just really, really good. And especially to get a chapter this good on a week that's not even a break week, or coming back from a break week is typically when you get the really, really strong ones. So, this was strong for just an ordinary chapter. Yeah, either way, like if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more One Piece, both anime and manga, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server, yeah, subscribe, follow on Twitter. If you want a link to the Discord server, just ask and I'll give you one. I did say up there earlier that my Boku no Hero Academia anime review might be up a bit late tomorrow, so hang in there with me on that. It'll probably be up Saturday night or Sunday morning, I don't know, but it'll be kind of late. So yeah, that's it. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you all next time.